I am a storyteller, so what I do best is tell stories. The story I want to tell you today is a very special one. It is the story of the little harmonica and the coronavirus. When the little harmonica saw a friendly man on a bicycle near the garden gate early in the morning, she asked him who he was and what he was doing there. I am Mr. Lewis. I'm a primary school teacher, and I'm just bringing my students their homework. But a teacher is at school at this hour, isn't he? Asked the little harmonica. Yes, that's true, he replied. Normally I would be. But what is normal these days? Corona has changed everything, Mr. Lewis continued. At first I thought, well, that's something on TV happening in a faraway country. But now this virus has spread all over the world and even come here. Corona? A virus? The little harmonica was confused. And anyway, why was that man wearing a mask? The teacher tried to explain. A virus is so small you can't see it with a naked eye, not even with a magnifying glass. You would need a microscope to really see a virus. What does corona look like? The little harmonica wanted to know. It cannot be compared to an animal or a person because it is not a living being. You can think of it as a tiny little wreath or crown. That's where the name corona comes from. But why is everyone suddenly talking about it? What does it have to do with me? Like every virus, corona wants to multiply, explained the teacher. But to achieve that, it needs people. And sometimes those people become very ill. The little harmonica's thoughts were racing and doubling over. How could something so small cause so much damage all over the world and make people ill? That's why we need all these hygiene measures to keep the coronavirus from spreading quickly. What is hijinks? The little harmonica wanted to know. The teacher adjusted his mask and laughed. Hijinks are fun, but hygiene means cleanliness. The little harmonica asked Mr. Lewis if she could accompany him, and he replied, You are very welcome to do so, but we must follow the rules of hygiene. He took a small bottle of disinfectant from his saddlebag and thoroughly cleaned the little harmonica. Then he began to sing.
A virus is a little thing, there's not even life within. But there's one thing that you must know, it wants to multiply and grow. It never rests, it's never done, infects mother, daughter, father, son. They touch their faces or their skin, the virus may move in. Through mouth or eyes or through the nose, that's the way the virus goes. The virus finds a way to spread, always moves full steam ahead, spreading further, moving quick, making lots of people sick, making lots of people ill. There's no medicine or pill. If someone's breathing out or if they cough, then the virus will take off and move on to somebody new. Could be your grandma, could be you. If you care for others and yourself, you want to ensure their health. There are guidelines, but they are few and not that hard to do. Hygiene rules are here to stay. They make the virus go away. Wash your hands so thoroughly. Keep your fingers virus-free. Keep your distance from other folks. No handshakes, cuddles, kisses, pokes. Over mouth and nose you wear a mask. That's a pretty simple task. There's one goal we want to achieve. We want to make this virus leave. Stop the virus from going round. Keep everybody safe and sound. Keep everybody safe and sound. Keep everybody safe and sound.
Mr. Lewis was delighted with the little harmonica and had an idea. I'm also a music teacher. Together we could sing and play many songs my students know. What do you think? Just pay close attention to the hygiene rules you just learned. Then the kids will have a lot of fun with you. Some of them are getting pretty bored by now. They will be happy to meet you. And just like the teacher thought they would, the kids had a great time with the little harmonica. That was great, little harmonica, but now I have to go to school to supervise some kids. Why? I thought everybody had to stay home. That's true, but the children whose parents are so-called essential workers need supervision. There are parents who can work from home, it's called home office, who can supervise their children themselves. But parents who work in hospitals or retirement homes, policemen and firemen, and other people who are indispensable have to go to work. And that is why teachers like me have to supervise their children. Come with me, and you'll get to know them. Mr. Lewis parked his bicycle in front of the school and took the little harmonica into a classroom. There were only 5 children there who greeted the teacher. Mr. Lewis said, "Good morning," and added, "Today I have brought someone with me, a surprise guest for you. This is the little harmonica, and it will introduce itself. And there is no better way for an instrument to do so than with music." The children were excited about their surprise guest. But before you introduce yourself to the little harmonica, we must talk about corona again, Mr. Lewis said. Rita immediately put her index finger in the air and explained, "Corona is transmitted from person to person by tiny droplets, so we must always wash our hands thoroughly. If you just touch your face for a moment, the virus can jump into your mouth," Mark called out. Mr. Lewis looked at him and said, "That's exactly right. And what happens to the virus then?" The children remained silent because they hadn't talked about this yet. Mr. Lewis turned on the digital board, and a tiny little thing that looked like a crown appeared on the screen. The coronavirus. The teacher tapped his finger on the board a few times, and one picture immediately turned into 2, then 4, then 16, and so on until suddenly the whole screen was full of hundreds and thousands of tiny viruses. "It's multiplying," cried Mark. "Exactly," said Mr. Lewis, "and then it makes people ill. But it's not the same for everybody. Some people notice almost nothing. Others get a cough and a fever, and some people get really ill and have to go to the hospital. That is why we have to give special protection to the elderly and people who have been ill before." Rita stuck her finger in the air again and asked, "Will you get well?" Mr. Lewis explained, "Most people will get over it in about 2 weeks, and after that you probably cannot be affected by corona again." Right this moment, the bell rang for the breakfast break. The kids became restless, but Mr. Lewis had to remind them, "Please remember to wash your hands like we practiced before you eat your breakfast. Only one child at the sink, please, one after the other."
In the bathroom before you eat, wash your hands and please be neat. Use some soap, Sing this song to dirt and virus. Say so long. Inside, outside, all around. Scrub your fingers up and down. Rub your nails inside your palms. Clean your wrists and both your thumbs. Wash your fingers, everyone, and then you turn the water on. Dry your hands and you will see you're absolutely virus-free.
The little harmonica was curious to know why the children were at school. She wanted to know what jobs their parents had, what exactly they did there, and why these jobs are so important.
We need our cleaning ladies, they're cleaning every day. They work hard and tireless, clean dirt and dust away. Offices and living rooms, with mops and rags and with their brooms. Cleaning lady, we sing for you. Thanks a lot for all you do. Thank you very much for all you do. And we need our farmers for fruit and corn and wheat. They work hard and tireless, and they don't mind the heat. They plow and plant out in the fields. We eat the crop their acres yield. Dear farmer, now we sing for you. Thanks a lot for all you do. Thank you very much for all you do. And we need our nurses, they help and heal the sick. They work hard and tireless, so you get better quick. If you're young or old or rich or poor, the nurse will help you, that's for sure. Dear nurse, today we sing for you. Thanks a lot for all you do. Thank you very much for all you do. Thank you very much for all you do. Thank you very much for all you do.
After school was over, the children went home except for one boy who stayed in his seat, waiting for something. He seemed to be able to read the little harmonica's thoughts. "My name is Steve. Mr. Lewis is my dad. I'm waiting for him because we have to go shopping now. My grandpa is pretty old, so he needs special protection. That's why we do the shopping for him and leave the groceries right outside his door. But I would like to sing and play a song for my grandpa today. Would you like to come along?" Oh yes, she did. So Mr. Lewis disinfected the little harmonica properly one more time. Then she accompanied them to Steve's grandfather. Steve was very musical and had a great idea. When his grandfather was younger and still going to work, he was a pastor. One song he loved to sing in church through all the years was Amazing Grace. Steve also loved this song. He wanted to surprise his grandfather with it. When they arrived at his grandfather's house, they put the groceries down in front of the door. Then Steve started playing right away. Wow, Grandpa was moved to tears and would have loved to give his grandson a great big hug. But he knew, as an adult, he should set an example. So he told his grandson, "Thank you, Steve. That was great. What you did means a lot to me. I would love to take you in my arms right now, but we better be careful. We have to postpone hugging one another until all of this is over. You brought me great joy, though, and it will be in my heart until we meet again next week." Mr. Lewis took Steve in his arms and squeezed him tightly. He was impressed and proud of his son. What a great idea to play this new instrument, this harmonica. And it's such a practical little thing. You can take it everywhere, and its music can touch you so deeply in such a simple way. Mr. Lewis and Steve went home, and the little harmonica came along. After having dinner, they turned on the laptop to Skype with Mrs. Lewis. "What is Skype?" asked the little harmonica. Steve explained, "Unfortunately, my mom is very ill and in the hospital right now. She is not as old as my grandfather, but she had been ill before Corona. That's why she has been hit really hard. She was in the ICU until yesterday. This is the intensive care ward of a hospital where the very seriously ill people are being cared for. Right now, we are not even allowed to visit Mom at the hospital. We can only call her. Skype is like a phone call, but we can also see each other on the computer screen. Dad and I have written a song for Mom to help her get well quickly. We're going to play it for her now."
Mama, I hate hospitals, especially since you've been there. I can't even visit you and show you that I care.
I'm glad there is a chance to Skype and talk with you, but I'm growing tired of the virtual, it's true. Without you, we both feel so alone. All we wish is for you to come back home.
With only Daddy's help, homework is so very hard to do.
What? We need you here, please get better soon.
You're lying there, you're weak, and it's difficult to breathe. Mama, do I wish you were here with me.
You can be proud of your little man and maybe even me. We're both doing our best, but you are who we need. Without you, we both feel so alone. All we wish is for you to come back home. Everything is unfair, I don't know what to do. We need you here, please get better soon.
I wrote for you this poem, and I'll recite it now. You just relax and I'll whisper it, you'll hear it anyhow. My mama is the strongest woman this world has ever seen. She will be Corona, and she'll be back with me.
Without you, we both feel so alone. All we wish is for you to come back home.
Here's a picture that I painted just for you. I need you here.
I need you here. We need you here. Please get better soon.
After hearing the song, Mrs. Lewis had tears in her eyes. She had been feeling pretty bad until yesterday. She was still too weak to hold the phone, so one of the nurses held it for her. Although the nurse was wearing a face mask, you could see she was smiling. Her eyes were sparkling. They talked for a little while longer. Afterwards, Mr. Lewis put his son to bed. The little harmonica sat on the windowsill and looked up into the evening sky. She thought about everything she had experienced and learned today. People are strange, and people are special. On the one hand, they always want more and often behave ruthlessly and selfishly. But on the other hand, they have become so thoughtful and considerate now because of this corona crisis. How nice it would be if people could stay that way after this crisis. Then there'd be a deeper meaning to it all, don't you think?
We're doing the right thing now. These times are strange and new. Show reason and respect. There's so much we can do. We will make the virus one day go away, but taking care of others will happen every day. If we work together, make this world a little better, we can get it done. If we stand as one, we're doing the right thing now. These times are strange and new. Show reason and respect. There's so much we can do. The life we used to know is gonna change, but even so, maybe we can see what we can be. We can get out of the race, we'll slow down our pace. No one can ignore that less is more. We're doing the right thing now. These times are strange and new. Show reason and respect. There's so much we can do. The life we used to know is gonna change, but even so, maybe we can see what we can be. We can get out of the race, we'll slow down our pace. No one can ignore that less is more. We're doing the right thing now. These times are strange and new. Show reason and respect. There's so much we can do. We're doing the right thing now. These times are strange and new. There's so much we can do. Are you ready to?
My job as a storyteller is done now. The story is far from over, though. Coronaviruses will be with us for another while, and it is important that we all behave responsibly during this time, including you. I hope you will remember everything you've learned in this story. I hope it will help you stay healthy and safe.